A very anticipated review here today. This is the driving review of the updated Tesla Model Y. And just to give you a very quick intro, of course, very controversial days these days, and people are trying to tear us apart. So that's why I think it's even more important to come together for what we love. And we are here on this channel for car enthusiasm, for passion about vehicles. This is our common ground here, so I think it's very important to take a look at what Tesla is doing. They're still technology leader in the EV segment. That's why I think it's very interesting and important to check out this vehicle. And no matter if you like Tesla or not, no matter if you like Elon Musk or not, it is very interesting and crucial to take a look at this vehicle. And I think it must be allowed to criticize Elon Musk, but it also must be allowed to take a look here at the Tesla vehicles. And then later on, you can also decide for yourself if you want to buy one or not. At least you are informed. And that's why we are all here to enjoy cars together. This is Autogefühl with Thomas in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go with the updated Model Y. You can see here this light strip goes all the way around. It looks really clean and more modern. No logo here, and everyone was thinking there might be some later, but I asked Tesla again and they say there will not be a logo here in the front. Yeah, what do you think about that? Is also something we can really discuss definitely. New is here this front camera. It's also, you can clean and heat it actually. That also should work in wintertime. And yeah, it's pretty cold here today. That's why I'm also looking forward to the efficiency test here, because they have always been about efficiency and so on. And this car is also more aerodynamic now. Small tweaks here and there. For example, even here at the side mirrors, you see here this additional edge even more improves aerodynamics. Length here is 4.79 meters, just like the spoilers have changed a little bit. 19-inch wheels here we have today. For the long-range model, you could also get 20-inch. But of course, with smaller wheels, you always have more dampening with the tires. There are a lot of tech upgrades with this vehicle for the whole chassis, but also for the sound deadening. So, for example, better insulation here for the windows, front and rear. Also 7 times more reflecting here the sunlight that comes into this glass roof from above. Tesla promises 20% less noise on the interior, like from rolling noise, wind noise and so on, and also less booming noise, especially from the rear axle. We're gonna find out about that. We'll drive the German Autobahn at higher speeds. We can accelerate out here, this like this countryside road here, and we can also drive in Berlin city traffic. This will be super interesting, I can promise. Towards the rear, we can see the updated light signature here, and here we have the Tesla lettering. We also went to the car wash, very refreshing here for you. And this projection light, this looks pretty fancy indeed. So the whole styling being upgraded definitely. As for the turning indicators, we also did some shots for you at night, both from the front and from the rear. I think in the front, they are hardly visible when the rest of the light is on. When it's off, then you can very well see them, definitely, but just to give you some nighttime impressions as for that. Battery sizes, they have not actually changed, so we once again have this 62 kilowatt hours for the smaller one, and the bigger one, 78 kilowatt hours. And people have been expecting an upgrade there. So I would have wished also for bigger batteries to have even more range performance, but that's something they have sadly not done here with the facelift. And the acceleration figures start with the rear drive model, with the small battery. They have your big battery and the rear drive, big battery, all-wheel drive. Big battery, all-wheel drive with performance boost, and so the acceleration figures are always somewhat between, for EU, like between 6 and 4 seconds. And this one here is below 5 seconds because we have here the all-wheel drive with the big battery, but without the acceleration boost so far. And pricing will of course be very important as well. We will talk later about that. But I think visually it already works very well. Here, the charging flap is right here, 250 kilowatt at a supercharger, and we expect once again about like 30 minutes, 10 to 80% state of charge. And yeah, that goes quicker meanwhile, definitely. But the cool thing is, of course, once again, the supercharging network that's predictable, that you can just enter your route and everything is done by itself, and the supercharger is always plug and play or plug and charge, so to speak. And that's still the very big advantage, especially in the United States, where you don't have so many charging alternatives. I was once in the like half a year ago, we were in US again and did some charging tests and so on without a Tesla, and it was just horrible, honestly. So things needs to be improved there. but they also want to more and more open superchargers for other brands that could, of course, be also beneficiary for other electric vehicles. 1.6 ton, by the way, is the towing capacity, also to mention that. The main headlamp, by the way, in the lower part, and Leah is now using the light flash. There we go. And it also has a matrix LED function. Tesla has also improved the connection between the smartphone and the vehicles, also more reliable and quicker now. And yeah, the cool thing is, of course, you can also control everything from here. For example, also open the frunk and you press it once and it doesn't have like a separate release or something. That's cool. And it's also a very, very spacious frunk here indeed. So, and let's see. Yeah, this one has to be pressed another time. No. There we go. Yeah, and very important also on the technology side, need to mention it before driving, it now receives an upgraded suspension, frequency adaptive dampening, so that's also supposed to bring more comfort, because one of the things that was criticized a lot of the times is that it's too rough from the riding. It's always a combination of suspension and wheels. Of course, we will test it here with our Model Y today. And here in this basement garage, we will test the auto parking feature, and you might say, well, other manufacturers can also do that. Yes, that's true. However, do I use the auto park feature in any other vehicle? So far, actually never, because I can park quicker myself. It's probably also the case here, but the key point or the key aspect here is how easy you can use this auto parking feature. And it's easier than with most other brands. And let me show you what I mean. So here, there are a couple of spots open here. As soon as we have, this outline, I can pick the individual spots. And here, for example, I can pick this one, but also here, I just click on it. Here, going further, I can also switch here, here, here. It's actually no problem. I can also say, I drive a little bit further. So let's see. There are the new spots. This looks like a trash bin, right? But it's a column actually. So, and then I can just select one of these, and it is so easy actually. So this is the straightforward user interface with the screen here. So I can select this or this, there we go, and then start. So release the brake. And that's the thing, when it's so easy to access, I just see it on the screen, I can click it, then you would also use this feature, because, yeah, I mean, I am a part. Oh, that's done very quickly now. Interesting.
Ooh.
That's really flawless. Wow. That's pretty cool. Yeah, look at that. I mean, and to me, really, the key thing is not really like the process itself. I think we could be. I maybe left a little bit of space behind that we can open still the trunk or something. But I mean, really nicely done. Here, by the way, again, pressing the brake to put it in this auto gear select, so I don't have to put it on the screen, then the throttle, and then, well, the accelerator pedal, and then I'm going again. What I also want to try is, I mean, what about the more tricky situation? So here, for example, we have a vehicle and this column. So both actually. So let's see, it should also suggest it. There we go. So now it's there. Let me put this one, because center steering wheel, there we go. There we go. Because that's a little bit trickier. Let's see how the car is doing that. Because the other one was like an easier task. And there we go. I mean, this takes some more time now, going back and forth. But the thing is that you might be more relaxed, because you say, yeah, just let the car do its thing and you do something else meanwhile. Because, parking in and out can be stressful for some. For me, it's kind of not stressful, because I grew up in the street with the worst parking situation ever. That's why I learned it the hard way for several parking in and out situations. Yeah, Leah hates it.
All the time.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not a fan of these systems in general. Leah is totally a fan, but I mean, here, as I said, when it's so accessible, then you tend to use it more often. And look at that. Even the harder part, that is, yeah, we can just say like, very well done. Now to the interior. Here, these door handles, they fold out like this. And yeah, I think it's fair to say that they're not optimal. Always when I criticize them, there's a lot of rage. No, they are great and so on. Everyone can find them great, but I don't find them great. I think there are easier solutions to that. Then cool is that you have here the dual laminated windows. So here already in the front, you can also see it here at the side. So this is supposed to bring the noise down, then door closing sound. It's actually good, and I mean, really astonishing that although we have frameless doors here, the dual lamination also for the rear, that's also not that often. I mean, it's standard even, and even for the base model. Wow, I mean, that's amazing. Usually when you have frameless doors, you have a bad door closing sound. But here, frameless doors plus good door closing sound. And look at that here also when I look at the gaps and so on. So far, that looks actually quite nice also at the doors. So then, upgraded interior materials as well. Here we have also really the leather red covering, so it's from the car wash, a little bit wet still. And then here ambient lighting integration, some fabric integration, and they sometimes hide fabric, you know, like hide functions behind the fabric. Here the speakers we can see, but there are other parts where the speakers are hidden by the fabric. Microfiber use, then the classic window levers, also good. This is the electric release for the door, but here they have another new symbol for the manual release that you really see. Ah, that's the manual release for the door. Fabric, it's the inside of the doors, it's nice, and also here everything is covered. It's not just black plain plastic, and this has a better build quality from the look and feel than most of the cars that are sometimes maybe even now double in the price. That's astonishing. Steering wheel.
No, entry badge.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, entry badge. This layer from the car wash is still here, the entry seal badge and the steering wheel, also with the upgrades. So soon I'm going to go in detail that we, I mean, still have some jog wheels on the steering wheel. That's actually pretty cool. Also here, look at that on the airbag here. There is even a structured leather red cover, so really cool. And yes, we still have the turning stalk, the indicator stalk. So that's also advantage in comparison to the new Model 3. Upgraded seats, perforation, heating, cooling, heating for all seats, cooling for the front seats each. And these are the new seats that are known from the Model 3 facelift. They were in the Model X and the S before. They are wider, larger, more comfortable, also plush enough. So they're really good also for tall people. This is a massive upgrade here for the interior. Headroom with 189, 6'2". There we go, still a lot of headroom. Yes, there is only this fixed glass roof, but they say it's reflecting more the sun now to the outside again. So we have to test it once again in hot summertime to see the effect on that. But it's good ergonomic position. You can set the seat here very quickly, also the lumbar support, and of course the setting with the steering wheel, they always do it in the menu. For me, it's on the one hand a little bit annoying. Then again, if you have set it once, save to your user account, you get in the vehicle with your smartphone, everything is set for your driving position, and even if you have maybe two different users or something like that. And when looking here at the cockpit perspective, just to mention, you can also once again get the wide seats here for the cockpit. Welcome here to this new interior. The update light strip here goes all the way across. That's cool from the ambient lighting, and also here with the fabric covering, for example. That's really nice. Everything wrapped here in a high-grade leather red. And the whole interior is animal-free, and they show great quality. At the same time, animal-free, it's actually, yeah, no contradiction or something that fits well together. Then the screen here, horizontal. Updated as well from the software. Everything is silky smooth and great hardware behind it. You can also open the front from here. That would also be possible. And then once again here also on the passenger seat you have one more good view here. Also here with the perforation where you can also activate the cooling and so on. It's plush as well. And then here, two inductive charging pads with a microfiber background. The phone could overheat because it's not ventilated. And here you slide this console open, have a lot of space. You can store some camera equipment here meanwhile. And then here the cuppers are also somewhat adaptive with these rubber lips there. You can close like this again, and here this slides down smoothly. Here is also this cover, soft enough for your elbow. The build quality is really very good. I just can say that again. And underneath, more space. And here's also a one USB-C charger to charge camera equipment from time to time. So you can also do that. And there's, of course, the big discussion of no instruments and no head-up display. And I do share that. Maybe you don't need both, but at least one of that. Yes, on the one hand, it cleans everything up and it is a calming atmosphere. Some say they like this minimalism, some say they don't like it, and you can argue for both. I think the best solution out of both will be, yeah, I mean, we have solutions. For example, I should soon show you that we can also control the temperature at the steering wheel. Actually, that's fine to me. But I would wish for a head-up display that I can really look straight in the far focus and see the speed, because Tesla owners say they get used to the speed here in the top left. Yes, and that's fine. But still, even if you get used to it, it is a close focus and it's also to the side. And this here with close focus and to the side is never like with the far focus. And even if you say that I totally side-eye that, you know,
I like it.
I love these reels from dogs, you know, when they do the side, when dogs do the side-eye, you know, that I love these. But still, it will be out of focus and it will be side-eyed, so it can never be a good solution. You can get used to it, but it's not the optimum solution. The best solution would indeed be a head-up display. It would kill a little bit of the super clean layout here, but I think it would be worth it. Or what do you think about that? And gear selection is here when you hit the brake in the screen here, front and back, just on the screen. But as we've shown to you also in earlier reviews, this automatic gear selection works pretty well. You have to buckle up and then the car checks out, is like in the front or is there a wall in the back. And then you press the brake once and then the car automatically selects the gear and then you can start driving without having to do it in the screen. Just if you want to like go back and forth when parking in, then you always have to do it in the screen. But that's also good. You do not have to hit the brake to switch the gear. So it goes quite quickly that you go back and forth. You can also argue about that. I'm more team of like a stalk for the gear shifting, for example, or maybe something at here. Then again, it cleans up, pro and con. And Tesla is team, sorry, Leah is team screen. Yeah, I think we have to discuss this one more time, right? And the driver POV here at the steering wheel, left side is volume up and down. Here I can actually give a light horn. That does work, so great to have that as well. Wipers, here I can manual wipe it once here actually. And you can see I can also, with the steering wheel control, if I want auto setting 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, or off. The auto setting has been improved, but it's not perfect yet. And here, another situation, we have the auto wiper still active, but at this moment, since like 2 or 3 minutes, no wiping anymore. So sometimes you say, hey, it's good now, it's improved, but then you have situations like these again where, okay, my wipers are gone, and then you have to, do it intentionally again, press it, or then set the stage individually. Right side, who induced the camera view, here the voice assistant. This is then here for the like the autopilot thing. And to me the most important thing is here, press and holding the left one triggers, for example. I can set it here to the temperature mode, for example, and then here I can scroll up and down on the steering wheel to increase or lower the temperature. That's pretty cool. And you can also press left, and then you can have different other things you can set to this left button. It has been there before, just to mention that. I think it's a really cool thing that you don't have to do everything in the screen, like the temperature here. Otherwise, this would be the other solution. And here, also to trigger the seat heating, for example. Or I can also here activate the steering wheel heating. And it's really powerful, by the way, the steering wheel heating. The most recent used apps here, for example, in the lower left part. And you can see here the driving, the auto select of the gears also works when I'm have the seatbelt on. Tap activate here, and now I can just drive forward, although I was parked before, and that is working very well. And look at that, the map here is so quick, so extremely quick. Everything is really reliable as well. So how fast the whole system is just always very, very impressive indeed. By the way, deactivating the speed limit chime here, you just press on the speed limit itself there, and then you can mute this, like that it beeps when you exceed by 1 km/h. Here, very important, I will talk about this here, the deceleration to reduced. This very super important while driving, that it does not affect the range. If you have the reduced deceleration, that will be super helpful while driving. I'm gonna elaborate on that very soon. And Leah can show us the feature on the passenger side here with this magnetic featured mirror. Oh. There we go.
And?
Let's see if we can extend it. Yes. Yeah. That's nice. Can also be extended.
Good quality.
That's cool.
I have to say, yeah. Here it's a little bit soft.
Oh, there's even like the cover here from the new vehicle still. Also the foil still there. Yeah, really fresh from works. And glove box. Can open it here in the screen. There we go. It's tiny but useful.
Wow.
And that's like really hammers back in like a strong magnet there, right? Bang. Now the rear seats, inside of the doors, here a high-grade leather red on top, fabric, nice ambient lighting integration, microfiber, that's well done, electric door opening. And then here the fabric on the inside, also in the rear. And then, yeah, this is first of all a new symbol here that you know, this is how I manually unlock the rear door. And this is maybe one of the cheap parts here because I can take it out and have it like here in my hand. But you see, oh, there I use some fibers here, and then here you pull this yellow string there. I mean, yeah, in most cases you won't ever use it, and then the cover is also fine. It's interesting, but at least you find out better or more about that when it has like this symbol here, and then I have to just push it in again. By the way, about the speakers, either 9 speakers standard or 15 speakers plus one subwoofer. That's what I want to say, with the all-wheel drive models. And we're also going to listen to that sound system. It's actually pretty decent, I can already tell you so far. And then for the rear seats here, you discover these new buttons here. And these you can gently press. Gently. Like we're talking to a dog. So you can gently press this one here, and then you can adjust the angle here, like backwards and forward. Or if you press it a little bit deeper, like this, then it folds down automatically and all the way. And interesting, like this mechanism, it doesn't go like, but you like, not sure what's like the technical reason for that. And you might also have seen here, the front seat automatically moves forward and backward to ensure this here. Here, moves forward, seat goes up again, and then the front seat goes back again. And yeah, it's a great solution to make the interior more flexible. As I said, gently press it to adjust the angle of that one. Also here the nice perforation and the high-grade leatherette in the back part, Isofix on the outside each. Then we can pull this here down for cup holders, and they are also somewhat adaptive. It's a very wide armrest here indeed as well. And here also on my side, this is then like the 2/3. Here I can push this one more upright for more upright seating position, or for more trunk length in the upper part, or push it backward here gently like this. Lee and I like to watch these videos where the dogs are being fed like, you know, small broccoli pieces or watermelon and so on. They have like the microphone close to it, and they are dog ASMR eating videos. We love these. Yeah, it's a good question, by the way. What is when I hit like the folding function and I'm sitting here? Shall we try it?
There was one question.
There was that was one of your questions as well. Last time we did it statically. I'm not sure if I'm a little bit afraid of that. So goodbye when we don't when we don't see us again. So let's try it. Interesting. So this is the gentle press, and usually the firm press would fold it. Interesting.
Maybe it's because of your weight?
Maybe it's because, yeah.
Against the seat, yeah.
Maybe, because even when I do the firm press now, it doesn't do it. That's interesting. And let's continue with this experiment. So when I here use pressure against the top part here, because I want to know, is it like about the seat sensor or is it like a pressure sensor here? So I put pressure here and then I press firmly in. See here? The seat moves back and forward, but it doesn't fold. So obviously this mechanism is realizing there's pressure against it. But what about when I'm just sitting here, but I'm putting no pressure against the back part of the seat? Because that would also indicate that it's about the seating sensor. Also doesn't move. Interesting. So it seems to be, just from our experience, that it must be both. That the car is realizing, I got to stop that when there's like pressure against it. But I also got to stop it when someone is sitting here. Very interesting, isn't it? And of course here the rear middle console, you now get this screen here for the rear climate unit. There we go, you can adjust it right there. Here you can also adjust the fan speed and the seat heating for the rear passengers. That's of course also pretty cool. You can even here from here control the front seat. That's also possible in the screen. And you can also watch movies here. Of course, you can also go to YouTube and watch Autogefühl. And of course, legroom and headroom. First of all, here the legroom to the seat as I would be driving. There's enough legroom left. And headroom, well, this is the advantage here of the glass roof that you also have enough headroom in here for tall people. And it's really good comfort here also, especially with the new seating. Let's check out the trunk or the boot, where we also have, again, interesting news. First of all, there's a new parcel shelf here. Yeah, it's good to have one, but the mechanism is, yeah, I would say not the most perfect one, and you have to find like what's maybe probably like this and this is the best one. It's still somewhat, let's say, loose a little bit, so to speak. Then here, the cabin trolley does also rightly fit underneath like this, and the measurements here, the length is here about 1.10 meters or 43 inches. The width between the wheel arches is a little bit less than 1 meter or 40 inches, like 95 centimeters. Of course, a little bit wider than here. Why? I'll soon show you as well. And the total height here is about 70 centimeters or 27 inches. And now it gets even more interesting. I'll soon also do the electric folding of the seats. First of all, so much more space here underneath. That's awesome. You can even put a whole cabin trolley underneath there, and this top cover can also be removed. And at the thought of that, it's also a nice customer service here. You can store it underneath and then you have it with you, but you have a clean solution then here for the trunk. And that is actually something where Tesla really listens to the customer feedback. And then we can press these buttons here at the left side, here and there, and we can easily electrically fold the seats from here. That's also a big improvement. So very flexible. I mean, how large it is. And once again, imagine what you get for a car for the price. That's the key thing here about the Tesla Model Y. And the total length here, see, yeah, practically almost the whole ruler fits in here, like with 2 meters or 78 inches. That's really impressive. So such a well usable vehicle. And of course, the same way they went down easily from the rear, you can also have them make a comeback once again. By the way, one minor thing I forgot. So first over here, you can also just push this one through as a ski hatch, and here underneath this second part, this one you can also lift up, but there's like just a shallow space.
And Thomas' ruler is broke.
Oh no, the famous ruler just broke. I mean, you have been used so many times. Such a great service to the viewer. And yeah, there's always the discussion, hey Thomas, don't you get like this laser automatic digital ruler? And I would rather get this one as a replacement, honestly, because when there's like a full ruler, everyone can have like a good imagination of how long something is. When I just measure it and show a value, you can't imagine it that well, you know what I mean? But you're happy to discuss it. And you know, I'm also a little bit into science, and I also like to do experiments. And I've just discovered a very interesting experiment here with the trunk mechanism. So, because I wanted to know, if I use here the ski hatch and I can't be bothered to go around to fold it up again, can I lift this one up when I fold this one here electronically and then lift it up again? Let's find out. So I put them down like this, and it should go into place here again, the ski hatch like this. But the question is, does it go far enough? Let's see. Da-da. Oh no, it doesn't do it. Yeah, so there you have the solution. Experiment failed. Whew. Launch. Whew. That was a cool 0 to 100 or 96 or something like that. And now it's German Autobahn time here. First of all, the ramps are always a lot of fun. Rain is picking up a little bit, but the road is not too wet yet, so we can do one more great acceleration for you. And here now, let's see how agile this car is in the corner. And I have a very good feeling for the steering indeed. It feels really nice, and it feels astonishingly natural. I have the standard steering setting here at the moment. I can put it also softer or harder, both possible. Also here accelerating out of the corner. Really nicely done. Great performance directly. Yeah, I mean, it's actually more than you usually need, you know, because it's so powerful actually. Here, 120 kilometers an hour is possible. Let's drop a little bit back. We can accelerate out like 60 to 120. Let's go. Woo. And there we already go. Yeah, I mean, it's so explosive here, this all-wheel drive model. Not even sure if we need any acceleration boost.
Passenger when you do
Yeah. That's why I did announce it before, right? I did announce it before. And most important changes here with the upgrade, of course, suspension and also noise insulation. And here, I mean, it's really, you see it, very ugly weather outside and 120 kilometers an hour, like 70 miles an hour. And it's still pretty silent in here, so I don't have to raise my voice that much. But here now, unlimited speed, we can go even quicker. Suspension is more likable than before, so I feel you have more suspension comfort. There's no notable booming noise from the rear and so on. And I mean, these are the worst conditions now for the wind noise and insulation and so on. Let's accelerate out further. See here, wow. I mean, you're immediately catching the cars in front of you there. I have to keep more distance for that then, because you're so quick actually. Now, of course, a little bit loud from the wind in front of us, but that's like the rain in front of us. That's of course no wonder. And I have the auto wipers activated. And so far in this condition here, it's actually working quite well, I have to say. Here and there, maybe sometimes I miss another wipe, but then you can also click one more time here if you want this additional wiping. Here at 150 kilometers an hour, like maybe like 80, 90 miles an hour or something like that. What would you say, noise insulation wise? Still, I mean, it's
okay,
really harsh conditions outside, so that's also still quite good. And the car is really stable. And yeah, 19-inch wheels we have on here, and here the road is really even. That's why I also have no complaints about the suspension here at this moment. So I would also say, because we recently had the Onvo L60 and also the BYD C-Line, that the driving and the driving dynamics is really excellent. The car feels more planted to the road. It feels really agile, and you have good control. I also feel that I have more control over the car than before. Also, how the steering reacts, so they also tune, the whole steering feeling. The car feels firmer, stiffer than before. It really feels like a grown-up vehicle, you know what I mean? So they perfectionized everything, and here the blind spot view here also when I use the indicator, and yeah, I love that I still have the indicator stock. I would definitely say this is German Autobahn proof. I mean, we're moving it here at pretty fast speeds, and it behaves very, very well. So if you then say, hey, maybe the Germans can do it better, I think this is here very, very solid performance on the Autobahn. So even at these very high speeds, I feel, pretty much at home in this vehicle. So it's doing that very, very well. So again, here also lane changes are also fun. I really like this newly calibrated steering as well. A lot of fun. And I mean, even at these speeds here, there are still more acceleration possible. I mean, here I hit this through, and we are like 180, no problem like that. So now hard on the brakes, using of course also the recuperation. Yeah, very, very good feeling for the vehicle. And we're gonna test the autopilot here on the motorway. That's also where it's like predominantly meant for in the first place. Also the other manufacturers with the level 2 systems. And let's see how we are being kept in the lane, and also accelerating back and forth. You see here, sometimes a little bit too nervous maybe from the steering. It always depends on the manufacturer. I think this is something where the Germans still have a very good expertise, that the level 2 systems are very, very smooth in like the steering movements and so on. But so far, I mean, this is like a very clear lining here on the motorway, so it's in this case an easy test. We'll soon also compare how the autopilot behaves in the city, because it's always worth to test that one out so far as well. Here now a slight left bend on the motorway. Let's see how the car is doing that. That one is actually quite well mastered now. Let's see about lane change, automated lane change here. Also shows me that. That's well done. Yeah, that's nice. Small correction here. That's actually quite cool. And then also the distance to the car in front of us is being kept. There are some reports of phantom braking, and the KBA, it's like the official German authority for car registrations and so on. They are actually at this moment filing a report on these phantom brakings of Teslas. And we're waiting the result of this report, because more and more customers have reported these phantom brakings and even like dangerous situations with that. And I know this problem from past Tesla models and past Tesla rides. We haven't experienced anything today, and I hope that they also improve that. If there will be something like that in the future, I will also report that to you. So far, no issues here, and we'll also keep you updated with this KBA report when this one is coming out. But I have to say, the autopilot here so far on the motorway is doing a very nice job. So this can be an additional help for sure. Ja, und wir sind gespannt, was da bei dem Report vom KBA auf jeden Fall rauskommt. Ja, und hast du das gemerkt?
Ja, das war jetzt die Phantombremse.
Das zum Thema Phantombremse. And here, you've just seen it. I was just doing the German moderation, and this was one of the phantom brakings. I did not brake myself. There was enough distance to the car in front of us, and it was doing like 120 to 100 like braking, something like that. And you also heard me talking some German. So that's about these phantom brakings. It is an issue, most obviously. And I first thought, hey, maybe they solved it here with the facelift. But just inside our moderation, we experienced something like that. And yeah, I mean, you see, it is capable on the one hand, also with the nice automatic lane changes and so on. It is a good system on the one hand, but there seem to be some more critical situations where it's not that reliable, actually. Now some city traffic, very important also as for the comfort and so on. So really happy to have the turning indicator, especially in city traffic. You can see here the blind spot camera. I also have the small red dots in the blind spot here on the right side. You can see it here, now on the left side here, but it's hardly visible, especially in daytime. So I would wish these small red dots for the blind spot mode to be larger. I mean, that should be possible. I would have wished that they updated that here for the facelift. Yeah, yet again, you have the camera view here that is also very helpful, definitely. Visibility to the rear is, of course, as always, limited because of this really, really tiny window. Yeah, I feel that it has even become worse a little bit. And at the same time, you can press this camera button here with the right thumb. Then you directly have the camera view, in this case here to the rear. So at some point, it might even be better to look at this one here instead of the back mirror, because you just see much. And also right here, like the resolution of the camera is really, really good indeed. So that's cool. You can, I mean, look at that, how easy that's triggered, you know, how quick it is. Here to the front camera, the new front camera, so you can switch it, like press it once, front camera. Interesting. Now it's always triggering the front. Not sure which algorithm is that, but you see that first it triggered the rear, now it has triggered the front. I can also see if I stand in front of the line or not, definitely. And very, very important to me, one of the most important things while driving, especially for the dearest passenger princesses. Here, acceleration to chill, because it is very powerful, as we've shown to you. And so, especially in city traffic, it's better if it's to the chill acceleration to relieve stress on your passengers, and the deceleration of reduced. And as it stands here, it says here the setting does not impact the range or the brake pedal response. That's very important. So just to understand that, before, basically all electric vehicles out there had the philosophy of use the throttle or accelerator pedal, and then you use the brake pedal, but the car decides when it's doing the recuperation only if more recuperation is, like if that's all used, and if you need more braking power, only then the rear brakes are being applied. But here with Tesla, it was a different philosophy. The philosophy was that you lift the foot off the throttle, you do use recuperation, but as soon as you hit the brake pedal, you use the brakes. And now they switched that. And that is really crucial thing. So here, no matter if you go for the hard recuperation mode or the soft recuperation mode, it will not have any influence on the recuperation itself or the range. And that means I can easily go to the reduced mode. I have a better transition also when I'm, for example, a first-time Tesla user, and I don't have to be like very, very, very cautious with lifting off my foot off the throttle, because it's not doing this, strong recuperation so hard. And I think that's, especially for city traffic, such a useful feature. I love that. And the whole experience here has become so much smoother, both for the driver and passenger. So if you have the stronger all-wheel drive model, chill plus deceleration reduced, then the better noise insulation, both from the windows and also, I told you earlier that they have reduced the booming noise coming right there from the rear axle. Here, when we're standing here in like dense Berlin traffic, it is very, very silent in here. Super, super silent. And yeah, I also wish for a head-up display indeed. And I think that wouldn't totally destroy the visual part of the car. But this is really like a Zen garden, you know, like I'm not a fan that everything is taken away. As for the buttons, I would wish, for example, like there could be a button line here, you know, in the lower part. That would be cool, for example. It would not destroy the visual part. But that everything is so clean and calmly designed, together with the upgraded noise insulation and the more chill driving features and braking features, it is really stress relieving. So when we drive this one here through city traffic, we are extremely relaxed, and that has been enhanced here with the facelift. Yeah, I can. That looks like that the the truck is running over us, but it's actually not a truck. It's a VW Caddy. It is. Let's check out the camera. Front. That's only doing the rear. How can I check the rear? Now it's doing the front always when I induce that. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, you see, it's a VW Caddy. It's not like a huge truck or something like that. Yeah.
You can type it
Yeah,
and you can
yeah,
change it. Okay.
exactly. I mean, even if you have driven these Teslas like a million times, you always discover something new while using it, because they constantly upgrade something. You know, that's the thing about it. And yeah, so this stress relieving is one major thing. As I said, we have the 19-inch wheels mounted here, and I would strongly advise to stick with these. Yes, the suspension has been upgraded, and it's also more comfortable and more silent than before. And although the suspension has been upgraded, when you go through some potholes and stuff, it's still somewhat rough at some point, you know. So when it's all even and so on, it's absolutely fine, and you can also enjoy this sporty driving experience. But I would, yeah, I mean, I would wish for a little bit more driving comfort still. It is better than before. Useful upgrade, yes, definitely. But here, for example, when the road is a little bit destroyed, sometimes it can still be annoying. So there are competitors that are also very stiff, but there are also suspensions out there that are a little bit better, just that you can, you know, somewhat relate to that. But definitely it has been upgraded, also good experience. And I mean, today is quite cold, but you also know that the roof has been better insulated, like should reflect 7 times more sun, sun impact, like the energy is coming in. We gotta test that at some point when it's really, really hot, of course. Another thing I want to test with you here is, how does the FSD, called full self-driving, but I mean, is it really one? It's to be discussed. How does it work here in the city environment, actually? We know that most level 2 systems nowadays, they are meant to be used on motorway and so on, and I think that's still the main use case. Tesla, however, claims that it's also working well already at slower speeds and so on. Yeah, I think we can just test that very carefully. This is also the European setup, most obviously. Some say it's not too different from the US setup. Some others say it is different. Yeah, it's always very, very hard to get the real info from that. Here, for example, now it's like 30, but just in nighttime. Let's see how the car does that. Still sticks with 30, yeah. But now it's 50 officially. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, for like this German, we say sometimes Schilderwald, like sign forest, because it was like a speed limit for like 100 meters, which was different, like crazy. So now let's activate the. Oh, yeah, I'm still like in the thinking. Back in the days, it was like a double press, but here you just need a single press. So here now, let's see, keeping the lane, but somewhat a little bit nervous here from the steering. See here, the like turning left and right, a little bit back and forth. Now it doesn't know where to go, so I have to steer myself. Although I have also set the GPS here, but you can see here, already when it comes to a little bit more critical situations, it's a little bit harder. Gotta say though that the German traffic here and also the streets and so on are a little bit more complicated most of the times than if you compare them to US traffic, and that's more like straight 90-degree corner, straight 90-degree corner. That's pretty often in US, at least like in West Coast and so on. East Coast might be more similar in some cities than Europe. yeah, so you always have to take that one into account, definitely. So let's go. Shall we give it one more shot? So what we did experience, auto steer temporary unavailable. Now we go. There we are. I can also set the speed then here with my right thumb. What we did experience yesterday, also in more dense traffic, is that, yeah, okay, that was mastered. Leah was at some point annoyed by the autopilot here in city traffic because she said like it's too rough, you know. So going back and forth and stuff like that, too hard acceleration, then too hard deceleration, and this can still be done so much smoother by us humans to really like finally control throttle and so on. Let's see, yeah, here you see, especially in these situations where you can look left and straight, the car just doesn't do that. So I just want to test it, how far it is in city traffic. And also yesterday when we were starting with this vehicle, because we're testing it over a couple of days to get really the best insight for you here, it was not really satisfying here in the city traffic. So definitely, as for the city use, we gotta say city use in Europe, here in Germany, not really usable at all, this FSD here. But yeah, the main point for me here is really like this very calming city driving experience. It's just fun. And as I said, suspension could be a little bit softer still. Yes, has been upgraded. But everything else really well done. So definitely a very nice car to drive also inside the city. And now let's plug it in. And since we did the preconditioning, we directly reached the charging peak of 250 kilowatt. So that's cool. And then we'll take the time 10 to 80%. 10% at 3:51 p.m. And here, by the way, it quickly dropped to about 120 kilowatt. So the charging curve is a problem. Here we see why it's not the quickest charging car. This station here was capable of 250 kilowatt, but the car is not here, not so long actually. And now we are achieving 80%. You see here the charging curve also massively dropped. So that took a while indeed. 80%, there it is. And 4:23 p.m. that means 32 minutes it took us. And our measured consumption here at 120 kilometers an hour, so like 75 miles an hour, motorway, rainy conditions, low temperature, so 4 or 5 degrees Celsius, so about 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So these are not good conditions for EVs, of course. And we did 120 kilometers an hour, 75 miles an hour, like one way, back again, then to have like the topography even out and so on. And the consumption was about 20 kilowatt hours on 1 kilometers, so around 3 miles per kilowatt hour. That would mean for the small battery, if you do exactly this, 300 kilometers or 190 miles of range. For the big battery, 400 kilometers or 250 miles of range. I mean, it's not really bad for an EV. However, we could maybe expect a little bit better, but it's also the conditions, you know. So when we would do the same test in summertime, it would probably be way better. And of course, we will do that for you if you like. Then we can just repeat it again in better temperatures and in better conditions. And if you also are interested, we can maybe also do maybe a longer road trip or something like that if you fancy that. And also maybe do like a high-speed test, like constant high speed, when it's maybe also drier and so on, what it, for example, consumes at 160 kilometers an hour. I did a very brief test of that, 160, and it almost looked like it goes like towards almost doubling then the consumption indeed. Prices also very interesting. First of all, this vehicle here is indeed built in Berlin, Brandenburg, in their Tesla plant there. And that's why we, as Germans, this time also received the pricing earlier than the US model. It's very interesting, definitely. So the entry-level model is 45,000 euros, small battery, rear-wheel drive, 5,000 euros extra for the bigger battery, and 3,000 euros on top extra for the all-wheel drive. So as the car stands here right now, without any more options, because you have the option there for the FSD. So without it, it would be at 53,000 euros. And I think that's still a benchmark as for price performance, as for technology you get, and also the range and so on. So yes, no matter what you think about Tesla or Elon Musk, and everyone can be of different opinion there, it is still the thing that they are one of the benchmark vehicles yet or still again in the electric vehicle segment. And that's why it was also so important to do this review here today. And of course, we will also bring you all of the alternative competitors if you want to buy another brand.